Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me today for a closer look at text expanders. Today, I'd like to define a text expander, look at the Shorthand 10 installation procedure, which is one of the many text expanders out there, look how we can create our own shortcuts, look at some shortcut tips, see how we can measure our progress, and I'd like to do a little live demonstration for you. So a shorthand or a text expander is a software tool that allows the user to type abbreviated codes or shortcuts, which automatically expand into full medical terms, phrases, or sentences, thereby increasing typing speed and efficiency. For our purpose, it can be used in any business or any situation. For our purposes, we're just referring to the medical world, but it can be used in any capacity. Okay, you're going to receive a shorthand license activation code during the Computer Fundamentals course if you are in one of our medical programs. When you receive this link, you're going to need to download the Shorthand 10 onto your computer. Ensure that your computer meets the software requirements. The process is straightforward. Download the installer and follow the instructions given. Sorry. So we're going to click on the Shorthand download installation. We're going to follow the prompts. Once it's loaded, the shorthand icon will look something like this. So it will look exactly like this, shorthand, SH. We will click on that to invoke the program. Okay, so this is what we're going to see after the installation and we've invoked the program. We should familiarize ourselves with the software interface. The interface usually includes the abbreviation column down here. This is our dictionary. Over here is the description. This is what our expansions are going to expand to. In this particular case, we have 3 dictionaries down here, Demo 1, Demo 2, and typos. This is a great thing if you happen to have 2 different hospitals, for example, that you're working for. You're working for the General Hospital and the Victoria Hospital, and each have their own specific expansions that they require, or way of typing, I should say. So you can put those specific expansions under each of those dictionaries. So when you're working for the General Hospital, you'll just click on the General Hospital dictionary and it'll have all the correct expansions. And then you move over to the Victoria Hospital, click on the Victoria Hospital, and you're good to go with that account as well. So in this particular case, we have the keyword up here, ASAP, which is always going to expand to as soon as possible. This is the actual screen where you're going to add your own shortcuts. So when you are on the previous screen, there's a place, and I'll show you once we get into our live demonstration, where you're going to click on Add. It's going to bring you to this screen. This is where you're going to add your new shortcuts. You can also add new shortcuts directly from your document. I'll show you that as well in the live demonstration. But after clicking the Add button, this screen shows up. The keyword that you want to use, again, this ASAP, we're going to actually type that in there. And then we're going to type down here as soon as possible. And that's how we created that particular expansion. After we're done, we're going to click on OK. It's important to note that you can have up to 32,000 characters of text associated with each keyword, and the number of keywords is limited only by your computer's available resources. So some users are using shorthand with over 1 million keywords. So what we're saying here is this ASAP, if we wanted, we could put a whole paragraph in here, up to 32,000 characters that this would expand to. And the number of keywords, as they say up here, it's endless. It's depending on your computer's capacity. So you can see that this would be a very powerful tool, which brings me to my next topic. Oh, actually, before we get there, I do want to show you how much time can you save using a text expander? Well, shorthand will keep track of that for you. In this example, the student has typed 124,000 characters. Shorthand typed 188,000. So together, they typed about 313,000 characters. But shorthand, as you see, accounted for about 60% of the total. So of the group effort, you typed 40%, shorthand did the bulk at 60%. So based on a typing speed of 372 characters per minute, you typed, based on a typing speed of 372 characters per minute, shorthand saved you 8 hours, 28 minutes, and 31 seconds of work. Hugely significant. If you want to know how many words per minute you were typing, you can divide 372 into 5. They note that the typing speed is always in characters per minute, not words. So for the purpose of typing measurement, a word is standardized to 5 characters or keystrokes, including spaces and punctuations. For example, if I typed I run, that would count as one word. I space RUN, 5 characters, one word. If I typed rhinoceros or let's talk, both of those would count as 2 words. So just divide it by 5. So in this particular example, this person typed 372 characters. I divided that by 5. So that is about 74 words per minute. Remember, it's a group effort, but that's how fast you could type while using the text expander. Okay, let's look at some tips for creating your own shortcuts. What we have to be very careful of is that our abbreviations are not common words. For example, if a doctor is prescribing a medication, they'll often say BID for twice a day. So we would type that as B period, I period, D period. But if we wanted to turn that into a shorthand, we could just put our keyword as BID and then the expansion to B period, I period, D period, which is all fine until you come across a situation where the actual word bid is necessary. You don't want to expand it to BID. The doctor might say, or someone might say, we bid on that contract. Well, you don't want it to expand to B period, I period, D period in that case. So you've got to be careful you're not using common words that will incorrectly expand. Make sure you have a system that's memorable. I can't say enough about this. If you're going to put a whole bunch of words into your text expander, you have to remember what words are in there. So get a system. Maybe a system is putting an X in front of an abbreviation. So for example, I'm going to show you some examples. Or maybe you double up the first letter or whatever you can think of that makes sense to you. Let's take a look at that closer. So one thing I also want to mention is one shortcut can do 2 formats. So if you type a shortcut in all capitals, all words will be capitalized. Otherwise, it's going to appear as you have it in your dictionary. For example, I have in my dictionary the shorthand PPEX. Every time we type PPEX, I want it to expand to physical exam. So the doctor said the patient came in for the physical exam. I can type the PPEX, that'll expand. But what if the doctor says physical exam as a heading? Well, that's easy. All we're going to do is we're going to still type PPEX, but just all in capital letters. I don't need a second expansion to make it all capitalized. Just capitalize PPEX, it's all capitalized. Furthermore, you can, if the doctor said physical exam today was good, we can type capital P and then lowercase PEX. That will give us physical exam today in a sentence form with just the first letter capitalized. So you don't need to put 3 different expansions in there. It's all one. It's depending on how you format it. Another thing to think about is if you want to create a word as an abbreviation and expand it, you do need to create 2 abbreviations. So let's take a look at MI for myocardial infarction. Do you want, every time you type MI, you just want it to be capital MI? So that's easy. We've just put in MI and it'll be capitalized. automatically. But what if we wanted to expand it to myocardial infarction? The doctor said the patient had a myocardial infarction. Well, we can put an X in front of that one, XMI, expand myocardial infarction. And that's a great way to go if you want to have a couple of different scenarios. Pressing tab or the space bar after the keyword immediately expands it. Pressing the control plus space after a word will insert a space without expanding the keyword. And pressing alt plus insert will add the current word to the dictionary. We're going to take a look at that. And pressing control plus insert twice will add the selected text. So I'd like to show you that because it is more understandable if you can see what's going on. So let's do this. I'm going to bring up a blank document and I'm going to show you what the doctor has just said to us. Either transcribed or virtual scribe. This is what he said. Okay, the patient, a 65-year-old male, came in for a physical exam. He was alert and oriented ×3. His chronic obstructive pulmonary disease is controlled. We will not change his medication. I am also going to put this in for you because I want you to see what I am typing. So this is going to be our text expanders that we've put in here. This will expand to this particular paragraph. So let me show you. Okay, the patient. So I do have TP in my text expander, but I do want just the letter T to be capitalized. So let's go TP. Notice down in the bottom left-hand corner, I can see what it's going to be expanded to, the patient. This could show up in different places on your system. This is just how mine's configured. The patient, I'm hitting a space bar. And then I want to put a comma there. A 65-year-old male. So I'm going to put in 65, a 65 space YO. Once in a while, when I am actually recording something, it doesn't quite work right. So I'm just going to try that again. 65-year-old male. There we go. So that is going to expand to a 65-year-old male. And he came in for a PPEX, physical examination. He was AOX3, alert and oriented ×3. I want to expand COPD because the doctor said coronary obstructive pulmonary disease. I expand it, is, and then control. We will not change his medication. So you can see, oopsie, I seem to have made a spelling error here, but you can see how much time, I went very slowly there, but as you get used to it and as you've memorized your expansions, you can fly with this stuff. The important thing is to make sure what you've put into your dictionary is spelled correctly, spelled and formatted correctly. That is something that is very important. As you know, if you incorrectly spell something, it's going to be incorrectly spelled throughout the whole report. So what is the purpose? Having everything correctly spelled is going to take a huge weight off your shoulder because the medical world, everything, business world, everything has some very complicated words. So you want to make sure you're spelling those correctly, but not wasting a lot of time looking up how to spell them. So once they're in there, you're good to go. I also wanted to show you something else that you can do. So let's say the patient said, or the doctor said, here, the patient had acute lymphoblastic leukemia. And that acute lymphoblastic leukemia is not in your word expand or your word expander. but you want to add it because you know you're going to see that word again. So what we're going to do is we're going to highlight it, and then we're going to press Control, Insert, Insert. It takes us directly to our add word screen in our shorthand. And there we have it. That's the expansion. It'll automatically take the first word of your expansion as your keyword, which is, we would not want that. But in this case, I think a good expansion would be XALL. I'm going to select OK. So, oh, my apologies. Okay, what's happening here? XALL. I'll press OK. Oh, because I already have it in there. Okay. That, you know what? I'm going to just change it. I forgot I had that in already. Let's say we're going to call this one XALL2. There you go. So that's just shows you that you can add with Control, Insert, Insert, anything you want. If I wanted to put, I don't know why I'd want to put that in there, but if I wanted this whole paragraph in here, Control, Insert, Insert. And we're back to that. Sorry, something is not quite going right here. So I'm just going to close that. But that is a great time saver. I'm just going to bring it up again if I didn't just close it. Oh, no, good, perfect. Remember, if you want to go into your help, I strongly recommend that you take a look at the how-to guide. It is very good, and you can get very sophisticated with some of your expansions and so on. I don't want to go into all of them now because it will take too long. But for example, year old, remember we had that expansion. Let's just take a look at it. I'm in my dictionary. I want to look at something that I put in my dictionary. I want to actually know if it's in there. So year old male. If I wanted to add year old female, I could do YOF, and that would make a year old female. But you'll see in here, because I type 65 space YO, that means that I need this to backspace for me because I don't want it to say 65 space hyphen year old. So this is a little key that you're going to put in. You're going to put in the curved parentheses at key and then the word BKSP and then another curly bracket. It sounds super complicated, I know, but look at your directions or your shorthand guide. It really isn't. All this is doing is you always have the at key, and then this is just telling it to backspace one. So that, I know, as I say, I know it looks complicated. It's not. But that way, every time you've got any aged person, a male, you've just saved a whole bunch of keystrokes there. Well, I hope that you found this helpful. It is a great time saver. Oh, just one more thing I wanted to mention is don't forget to go into your help, look at your statistics, and see how you're doing. That's lots of fun. And also, if you want to do a speed test, do a typing test. It'll allow you to type in here. So that's some fun you can have with it. But I hope you enjoy it. I am very thankful for text expanders. I live with these. I would be lost without them. So I hope that you give them a chance. I think adding a word or two a week while you get used to it and just keep using that word and then add a few more, I think you'll really get the hang of it. Again, thank you for joining me today, and please don't hesitate to reach out to an instructor if you have any questions. Thanks very much.